Hey you guys, I'm Labrina, a recovering perfectionist on a journey from shame to freedom. And this is my story. So it's like 7 something in the morning right now, and my kiddo is still in bed. My husband has gone to the store because we had a water pipe burst last night, and I am about to do a workout, and I knew if I didn't film it just like right now, I would not check in with you guys. So here we go, just everything, right? This is real life. So right now, life is freaking busy for all the good reasons. And I don't say busy as like I honestly, I do not like to put busy on this status words. It's early. Basically, I don't like to heroize it. Is that a word? I just made it up. It's okay. Because I don't feel like busy is something I want to strive for. It's just the reality of life right now. Brett and I, my husband and I, live in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Everything has been shut down for the past few months, and we're getting to open our business again next week, a week from yesterday. So the thing is that I never thought that when life was super busy, I would be able to prioritize working out in the busyness. Like, I knew that I could work out, but the whole eating well thing, I was like, I'm not that talented. I can focus on one thing really, really, really well. And if that is launching a show, because we own a magic theater, if that is launching a show, then that's what I can focus on. And that's it. And that will be my life for a week or two. So in the past, here's what I've done. Going into a show and wanting to feel confident in costumes, I definitely would get a specific number in my mind. And for about 8 weeks before a show would start, I would do everything in my power to reach that number on the scale. And then for 2 weeks before the show launched, I would eat like crap and not really exercise and just be like, I'm moving a lot, we're working hard, it'll be fine. And it would be fine. And then once our show got going, whether it was in the summer or later in the fall, I would be like, hey, I actually want to have a healthy lifestyle. So fast forward to now, when I'm trying my darndest to get into a groove where this is sustainable for life. This is not a crash diet. This is not a fad workout routine. This is just something where I am saying I want to prioritize health, because I truly believe that if I'm healthy inside and out, like inside and out, that I'll be able to love people better, that I'll have much more patience and energy and vision to be able to lead well as we're going into rehearsals today. So here's the thing. I don't know that I've ever had such a defined why, because I've never had to. Like, here's what I mean. Emotions will get us so far. Motivation gets us so far. It does. I can get super motivated, whether it's by a vacation coming up, like an event I want to look good for, or by a picture I saw of myself that I hated. That negative motivation absolutely messes with my head and sinks down deep. That usually actually starts with me spiraling out of control for a couple weeks, by the way. That's not instant motivation to get in shape, but that is a motivating factor. It has been in the past. I've been like, oh, I didn't know I looked like that in those clothes. I gotta do something about that. So all of these things can create temporary motivation, but what happens when the emotion fades? It is really hard to get up at 6 something in the morning before your family, or 5 something in the morning, and immediately make your breakfast, get your workout in, and move on with the day. It is so much easier to hit snooze, and motivation does not kick in for me at 5 something in the morning. It just doesn't. When my alarm goes off, I don't feel like I'm on top of the world. I don't feel super hyped and excited to hit a workout or to rock those summer goals. So this has been going on for more than just 2 weeks. This is not a 2-week fad. I started working out and have not seen the results I wanted. whenever I'm not able to reach physical goals as quickly as I want to, like I am out of control of how quickly I build muscle or how quickly I lose weight, or even whether or not working out cures depression, right? Like it helps. It doesn't take away any kind of triggers. So with all of that, whenever I feel like I'm hitting some kind of pushback on my way to my goals and the scale is not telling me what I want it to, like it messes with my head. And this happened this week. So I can't remember which day it was. It was only Monday morning. I hopped on the scale and I was going to take a 1 week weigh-in because I started a new program at this point 11 days ago, and it's 80 days of intense focus on eating well and exercising. This is not something I could have jumped into last month because it would have been overwhelming to me. It's created the perfect amount of structure for our crazy launch season. Okay. However, it's hard. So I hopped on the scale. It was the exact same number as last week. Like a week apart to the decimal point, it was exactly the same. Which I don't think sounds that crazy. Like as I'm telling the story now and emotions have faded, that's logical. It's like, yeah, sometimes you weigh in a little heavier, sometimes you weigh in a little lighter. It's okay. But for me, I like to control things. Like if I put in the effort, I want it to pay off. So I'm like, I know it's not about the number, but I want that number to say something else. And like, my weight does not determine my value. My value is so much more than a number on the scale. I get it. And I know that it takes time to lose weight, and like that number isn't telling me everything that's going on in my body. I just stayed away from the scale for a couple days because I knew that it was a trigger. And I even had to like journal it out and write down, here is what I know to be true, that my weight doesn't determine my value, everything I just said. And here is what is still happening. Like the reason I started this journey is not for the weight loss. I think that when we're healthy and we're taking care of our bodies will naturally be in a healthy range, but that doesn't mean a specific number. And that doesn't even mean that everyone has the same healthy range. So I'm like, this is not about it. Like the number can't be my motivation because I can't control that. I said my motivation is that I want to have energy for decades to come. I want right now, this summer, to be able to go outside and play with my kids and wear shorts, because that is a huge deal for me. I just don't wear shorts. So I wear capris in the summertime and get super hot and only like to be indoors, which is fine, right? If I'm like, no, I just don't want to sweat. But I have 2 little boys, ages 3 and 5. They like to play outside. I don't want to miss out on that. And I also don't want to be having like a heat stroke out there in my jeans, right? I want to be able to go out there with confidence, knowing that regardless of what I look like, I have value, and I'm valuing myself enough to show up every day and get my heart pumping, and then to fuel my body with foods it loves and craves. That's a pretty huge why for me. I also want to have energy when I get out there to play with my kids. One of the biggest motivations for me to continue on a journey of health right now is that I don't want this to control my life. I don't want a journey towards fitness or the desire to fit into specific clothes to consume my mind. I hate it. And that's a struggle that no one sees. No one knows what you're struggling with on the inside. But I know that for me, there are so many times, different times of the year, but regularly, my mind becomes consumed with weight loss or with just fitting into clothes or freaking out because I don't fit into clothes. Hello, show launch, when I know I'm going to be on stage in flashy costumes in front of audiences, I really want to feel my best. And it's a huge struggle for me to remind myself that health is health regardless of what I look like. And then I don't lean into health. I just lean into looking the way that I want to look, which leads to unhealthy behaviors, like going to an unsustainable extreme and then swinging back in the opposite direction as soon as I'm like, that is way too much, right? That is part of why I struggle with a binge eating cycle. So my motivation is to be able to have a lifestyle that's sustainable for life, to work out, to be strong consistently, not just whenever I'm afraid I won't be able to keep up on vacation, and not just whenever I have a show coming up that I want to feel strong for. I want to be strong, and I want my body to not be dependent on caffeine for energy. I want to learn how to fuel my body consistently with foods that have so many nutrients that my body naturally has more energy. And cutting out a bunch of the processed stuff, not because I know that it's bad. It's not a good bad thing on food. It's a what fuels me for life. And the real thing is, I want to ditch the shame game. That's what this entire journey is about. That's why I say at the beginning of every video that I'm on a journey from shame to freedom. Because I beat myself up when I make mistakes, and then I look in the mirror and I'm like, see, of course you don't look the way you want to because you had those cookies last night. And it's a toxic, terrible mindset. So I'm still working on my why. Here's what I am finding. I think that often we have a very surface, shallow why. Why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want to work out? Well, I want to fit into those jeans that I had 2 years ago. Okay, so what would that mean for you? Well, it would mean that I can feel the same as I did before I had my kid. But what would that mean for you? Well, it would mean that I am still a person outside of motherhood, that I'm not just a mom, that I can also still do other things that I did before having a kid, like run or play sports, or, you see what I mean? That's not actually getting to any person's real why, but that's part of the journey. Like, for me, it came down to, okay, I want to lose weight. Why? Well, because I want to look great on stage. So what does that mean? What does looking great mean? Well, it means that other people would look at me and think that I look like I'm a professional. And what does that mean? Well, it would mean that I have value, and that I'm not just getting on the stage and hopping in boxes and doing something that anybody can do, but that I am the best, and that it's not really about being the best. It's just about not being a disappointment to my husband, because he's kind of stuck with me as an assistant. We're married, and I don't want to be a disappointment to him, and I don't want to be a point of shame. Okay, quick side note here. The whole idea of being a disappointment and not wanting to be a source of shame for another person, that is not the underlying why, right? I'm not going to be like, I want to look great so I don't disappoint my husband. Also, my husband has never put that pressure on me. I am so grateful for that. But it does mean that we're getting to the meat of the tension, right? Like, it means that we're getting to this underlying, maybe the motivation that's always kind of been there but isn't a lasting one. So that then we're able to reshape that and say, okay, so I am not a disappointment. I do want to feel my best. And I haven't been able to get to my true why until I looked the icky why in the face and realized that that was actually sending me on a shame spiral. So, it's really hard to say. That is one of the things that I struggle with, is I don't want to disappoint people that I so care about. And I don't want the girls in our cast to look at me and to think of me as a joke or as a disappointment because they are younger than I am and more fit and haven't had kids yet. And I want to be like leading by example and showing them that it's possible to have freedom to do what you love even after you start the family life. Like, I want to show people it's possible to live in freedom. And there's my why, right? It's not It's not about a number on the scale. It is about proving to myself and everyone that needs the encouragement that life doesn't end after you have kids. Your identity isn't washed away. Your journey expands, it doesn't end. And the things that are put in your heart, whether it's performing in a magic show and sharing wonder with audiences, or whether it is, I don't know, whatever it is, that whatever you're passionate about, you can still do that, and you can still do it with excellence. But that it's not about your value. Like, my value has never changed. Whether I am winning in this journey or whether I'm struggling, my value is the same. Your value is the same. Because you were created with purpose and you were created with value. There's nothing you can do to screw that up. You're a human being. But what we tell ourselves, that can definitely affect how valuable we feel. So, there you go. That got real deep real fast. My encouragement is to ask those questions. Go on a rabbit trail, a very intentional one with yourself, where it's not just about a number or the size of your jeans, or, you know, it may not even be about, oh, I want to be healthy. That's great, but what does that mean for you? Like, what's the underlying why? Because I guarantee you, if you have to get up early or stay up late or take time out of your day to work out, and you're meal planning and you're cutting up veggies in the morning so that you have a healthy lunch whenever you're at work, that is probably not gonna last as a motivation very long. And if it would have already, right? Right? It would have already. So if my motivation just to be a certain size has failed over and over again, then why keep holding that as my motivation? That's a really shallow motivation. It's not gonna stick with me whenever the discipline becomes discipline and hard. So I love you guys. Drop a comment below with what you think your why is. Maybe you know your why, but if not, yeah, kind of brainstorm it in the comments, because I would love to hear your story. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram is a great way to directly message me, because I enjoy helping people write goals and figure out their why and understand maybe what's going on under the surface, just asking those questions. I'm not a counselor. I just really, really, really like seeing people thrive. And I enjoy coaching folks through processes of figuring out a plan that works for them. So if that's something that you want to chat about, find me on Instagram. Also, please subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification icon so that you never miss a video. I will see you guys next Thursday.